What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? Welcome to the Six Man Show Postgame Live presented by Rock'em. Oh man, what an interesting game tonight in Phoenix. The Magic lose 112-107 in a game that didn't feel like it was even that close for most of this game. Felt like the Magic were getting blown out, and then all of a sudden, third and fourth quarters, the Magic make it interesting, but fall apart down the stretch. Could not buy a bucket over the last several minutes. We're going to talk about it. Turnovers killed the Magic. We're going to talk about that too. But before we do, glad you guys are here. I'm producer Kevin. Welcome to 6 Man Show Postgame Live on this New Year's Eve. We are just over 90 minutes away from 2024 here on the East Coast. Chat, hope you guys are doing well. We'll get to you in a second. But first, the 6 Man Show Postgame Live is presented by Rock'em. Rock'em, the world's largest sock store, and they're a Central Florida company. They're located in Orlando, just down the road from Kia Center. They make socks, underwear of some of your favorite teams, some of your favorite brands. So definitely go check them out, rock'em.com. And when you do, please use that code MAGIC20. That'll get you 20% off your checkout of your order at rock'em.com. That's good all season long, Orlando Magic season long. That code MAGIC20, whether it's now or April, take your pick. It's good to use, and it helps out the 6 Man Show along the way. So yeah, check them out, rock'em.com, and thanks to them for sponsoring the Postgame Live. All right, chat. I've said this many times this year, okay? But this is what I'm about to say is the most real I've ever said it, okay? If you are here right now watching this live on YouTube at 10:21 p.m. Eastern Time on New Year's Eve, after that tough loss, a later tip than usual, and again, 2024 is in 90 minutes. If you are here right now, you are the definition of an Orlando Magic maniac. So thank you for being here. I genuinely appreciate it. Chat, for those of you that are here, let me see what you got to say tonight. Joseph Chubb says, so many coaching errors lately. Coach got to identify who's hot and who isn't and play the right dudes. Cole should have been in those last 5 minutes that we didn't score a bucket. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can totally go with that. I don't know about so many coaching errors lately statement, but I definitely see what your point at the end about having Cole. Cole played very well tonight, and yeah, couldn't buy a bucket, but at the same time, the crew that was out there helped you get it to a 1-point game with 6 minutes left. They just went completely ice cold. Now, could Coach Mosley see after a couple minutes of not hitting a bucket, maybe it's time to put Cole in? Probably, maybe. I don't know. I think that's fair. But yeah, that was definitely... Those last 6 minutes were painful. Thanks, Praises says, where'd Gary Harris go? I don't know, guys. Did we break him? Like, what happened? I mean, that's a career 40% three-point shooter who is just incapable of hitting threes right now. Like, what the heck happened to Gary? We need Gary. Come on, Gary. Matthew Kennison says, of course Bradley Beal has a season high against us. Of course he does. Of course he does. Really quick, I do see a super chat here from Ty Mr. TV. He says, Happy New Year. I'm not mad at this loss despite us forcing threes, but we hung with that three-headed monster. That's what's, I think, the most frustrating to me is that you hang with them despite the way you played, which means if you just tweak a couple things tonight, just do a couple things better, or a couple guys hit a few more buckets, we win this game. You're exactly right, Ty. We hung with them, but we could have won it. We really could have won it. So, let's see. Luis Rosario says, great effort in the third quarter to make it a game, but not enough scoring to keep up with Phoenix scoring, especially down the stretch. That's what's tough is you got a lot of stops in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Let me see what they ended up scoring in the fourth. Phoenix scored 23 points in the fourth quarter, 22 points in the third. You hold Phoenix to 45 second half points. That Phoenix team you hold to 45 second half points. That's a lot of great stops. And yet, still you could not keep up with that. It's rough. Tavius Faye says, shooting will be the downfall of this team if we don't address it. I mean... Yeah, tonight you shoot 12 of 37 from 3, which actually for the Magic is pretty dang good. Unfortunately, just not good enough when you're coming up against the Suns. Who, to be fair, the Suns didn't shoot. We shot better than the Suns from 3, which is surprising. We just took too many, if you ask me. Eagle Fang says, I'm so sick of the Magic losing consistency with big games. Shake it off and go to the next game. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Eagle Fang. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting involved. Yeah, consistency is a thing. I feel like it's especially a thing with young teams like this, Like they haven't fully figured it out yet. So they're still trying to figure, first off, for themselves as individual players, and then, of course, as a team. But Matthew Kennison says, pathetic fourth quarter. Front office needs to bring in some consistent shooters. Pathetic second half of the fourth quarter. Let's not forget, this team got it down to a 1-point game with 6:05 remaining. Off that Powell and one got it to a 1-point game. The first half of the fourth quarter was pretty good. Pretty good. The second half of the fourth quarter was pathetic, as you said, Matthew, for sure. The only hero says, way too many threes in the fourth. We were down by 4 with plenty of time left, and we just got away from what we were good at. Suggs should have been benched for the last 5 minutes. I definitely agree, too many threes. I just mentioned that a second ago. We took 19 threes in the first half. We ended up, I believe, with 39 or 37 total threes taken in this game. 37, yeah. But yeah, I thought the first half was even worse. 19 threes in the first half was terrible, and we shot way worse in the first half as well. As far as Jalen, it's a mixed bag, right? Like, yeah, Jalen couldn't score, but you need Jalen. You need Jalen's defense, which, again, in the fourth quarter, the defense was pretty good. You hold Phoenix to 23 points. So I hear what you're saying. And you're right. At the end of the day, you're right. We were down. We were trailing. So, yeah, you got to swap defense for offense. But it probably goes back to what was said earlier. You probably need to swap Jalen for Cole. I don't know. Chris says, that was the wrong time to go ice cold. Yep. That was there for the taking. I'm encouraged that Phoenix's big three was at full strength, and we were right there. But dang. Exactly. And that's what's the most frustrating. Like I said, the fact that we were right there. And if you commit, 2 fewer turnovers, instead of 16 turnovers, you commit 14. If Jalen hits a 3 earlier in the game, if Gary doesn't go 1 of 6, you're not just in this game, you win this game, It's rough. Matthew Kennison says, I love Suggs, don't get me wrong, but he crapped the bed tonight. Shot way too much in the fourth. Yeah, he started, 1 of 6 from 3, 0 of 6 from 3, ended up 1 of 7. Man, it's rough because he's been shooting the ball really well lately. Just had an off night. Thanks, Praises says, Phoenix win has very little to do with Beal being back. Gary and Suggs weren't there offensively. It's just facts. They combined for 1 of 13 from 3 and 3 of 17 from the field. Yikes. Yeah, that's not going to do it for you. Matthew Kennison, this is exactly right. He says Orlando 16 turnovers, Suns with only 6. That's the game right there. That's the game. That's it. That is entirely the game. 10 turnover differential, and then points off turnovers. Phoenix, 18 turnovers off of 18 points off of the 16 turnovers. Magic 8 points off of the 6 turnovers. 10-point differential in a game that you lose by 5. So yeah, that's the game. That's the game. And a lot of them were really stupid turnovers. The only hero says, nice game by Wendell. Best game of the season. Wendell was great. Honestly, the first quarter, I thought he was terrible. I was very disappointed in the first quarter. The last 3 quarters, he was terrific. He looked like Wendell. Love that. Definitely his best game of the year. Dizzy says, greetings from 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. Powell and Franz went head-to-head with Phoenix Big 3. Sloppy game, ice cold in the fourth. Yeah, we only lost by 5. Love the positive outlook there, Dizzy. Happy New Year to you across the pond. Hope 2024 is treating you well. We'll be there in 92 minutes here in the East Coast of the United States. Thanks, Praises. Says, great game from Powell. Yeah, Powell was terrific. Joseph Chubb, I literally don't have a life, Kevin. Please don't praise me. Oh, man. I love it. This is my kind of people right here. Thanks, Praises. Says, Happy New Year, Magic family. Happy New Year to you. Yep, Devane Madison says, the return of Win Daddy. Ryan says, we got to fix these turnovers. Facts. Warp 10 Barrier says, turnovers and bad shooting doomed us once again. Absolutely did. This is the username. I'm just going to read it. Greasy Nuts said we would have won if we didn't lose. Now, that is a good point. That right there. Yeah. I hadn't really thought about it like that. That's a good point. Looking at the stats here. Yeah, I think you're right. We would have won if we didn't lose. I think that's it. Oh, man. Ty Mr. TV says, I just hate seeing fast break threes. It annoys me to no end. I'm with you, dude. Maybe it's because, am I just old? Like, is that old school of me? I know it's the thing, right? Like in the modern NBA, the fast break threes, guys wide open. And maybe if you're on a team that makes threes, that's cool. But on our team, I hate it every time. Every single time. Hate it. Especially when it's like a 3-on-1, 4-on-2 or whatever. It's like, come on, guys. We can do better than that. Steven says, 19-12 to end the year. Who would have thought? The boys fought till the end tonight. Can't ask for anything more. Again, we've said this several times on this show after a difficult loss like tonight. And then you look at the standings and you're like, this team is 7 games over 500 at the end of 2024. Crazy. That puts a smile on my face. That's amazing. It's amazing. Ty says, guess what? Our stars are learning to play together. Yep. Once again, they both play well tonight. Paolo certainly had the better game. But they both play well tonight. Dizzy says, I cannot stand Devin Booker talking smack way too much, surrounded by Beal and Durant talking like a dyslexic parrot against one of the youngest teams when he's just supposed to do what he does. Yeah. I mentioned that to Jonathan and Luke tonight. All 3 of those dudes, several times tonight, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, we're talking smack. Like running their mouths at the Magic, which I think is hilarious. Because you're right, we're just a young team just trying to figure it out. And yet, they're so concerned with us that they feel the need to run their mouths. I think it's hilarious. Luis Rosario says, Kevin, I watched the Knicks Film School podcast. I want to give you your flowers. You were very articulate and thorough with the team's makeup this year. You represented Magic fans well. Lois, that is very kind of you. Thank you. I had a lot of fun. Andrew and that whole Knicks Film School crew are awesome. They're great people. So it was a lot of fun, but thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I'm Jovi says, our threes are so bad. Yep, 100%. Brynjar says, Happy New Year's, guys. Tough loss, but love to spend the New Year's with you. Absolutely. Happy New Year to you. I don't think I got an answer last time. Are you from Iceland? That's my guess based on your last name. Let me know if you don't mind in the chat. Let me know if I guessed correctly or if you're from somewhere else. But again, I'm just trying to guess based on your last name if that's Iceland or somewhere else. Yeah, Ty says D-Book is a little whiny for sure. Cameron says we are one consistent three-point shooter away from winning these games. That's the thing. Like that's kind of why Gary Harris exists, is to be that consistent three-point shooter. And he has been awful. He has been so bad. But you're right. Again, a night like tonight, you lose by 5. All it takes is one guy to shoot 2 more threes and you win. I know it's not exactly like that. It's not black and white, but you get what I'm saying. All right, let me skip ahead a little bit here. Noel Ramirez says, Suns had only 6 points off the bench. Yeah, we'll look at the stats later, but our bench crushed them. But the Suns have pretty good starting lineup. Steven says, Suns capitalized on all of our turnovers. It seemed like, couldn't believe it. Yeah, all of them. Matthew says, forever Magic. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, dude. Forever Orlando. The Only Hero says, as a Gary Harris fan, something needs to be done. He's had about 2 good games in about 30. We rely on him too much to make threes, and he's just not cutting it. We need to find a replacement. Here's the thing. Gary has been on and off this year. I mean, literally on and off the court. And so each time, especially this one, I thought, okay, maybe you just need a little break and he'll come back and be Gary. Not tonight. Arto says, bad Goga game too, IMO. Nurkic was kind of all over him. Yes and no. I agree with you. However, that first quarter, the only reason we're in this game, the only reason it's competitive is because the way Goga crashed the offensive glass. He was a maniac in that first quarter. He was crazy. But you're right. I mean, Nurkic absolutely killed him. Skipping ahead a little bit more to get caught up. Hey, Iceland. I was right. Yeah, let's go. Steven says, if they're big 3 running their mouths versus our boys off a 5-point win, love it. Motivation for our guys going forward. Love it. He No Hoop says, which players in our starting lineup do we replace shooters with? Okay, let's think about this. Not Paolo, not Franz, obviously. Center's not going to be a shooter. Shooting guard, Jalen on the season before tonight was shooting 37 or 36, somewhere around there, percent from the field, which is just above league average. So you'll take that. Point guard is the only other question. Right now, if you want to start Cole, I mean, I think that's a dangerous game to ruin that bench, but you could talk about it. Bomba says, when opponents pack their paint, we have nothing to do except really, really tough shots. Yeah. It's kind of the thing with this team. Like, it's not a secret. This team can't shoot the three ball very well, so pack the paint. Orb Timberry says, thoughts on giving Mac McClung and Jet Howard a little run with the big team to try to inject a little shooting help into this team. Well, we've seen Jet this season on a few occasions, and he has not shot the ball well. We have not seen Mac with the Magic this season. Well, he's not a two-way player, so we wouldn't see him. Look, the front office knows what they're doing, if you ask me. And if those guys aren't getting burned, there's a reason for it. Let's see. Irby says, what happened to Mo? Played only 10 minutes? Well, we have 3 centers now with Wendell back. And so he was the one who got on the quote-unquote chopping block for tonight, only playing 9.5 minutes. That's going to be a very interesting thing to see over this road trip, how many minutes each center plays. All right, last couple of chats here that I'm going to give my thoughts on this game. We're missing Joe Ingles, so Amazing Music says 100%. 100%. Sydney Ferris says, where's Jonathan Isaac? He's out again. Yep. That's what I told Jonathan and Luke tonight. I was like, man, if only the Orlando Magic had a player, a similar frame, similar size to Kevin Durant, who's an elite defender, that you could throw at him for 15, 20 minutes tonight. If only we had a guy like that. Man, Jonathan Isaac would have been great to have tonight. Tragic. The only hero says, at least we didn't lose to the Pistons. Yep, Raptors did. Loved that it was Toronto. And then Noel Ramirez says, best case scenario, we trade for Tyus Jones. I would like that. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. All right, let me give my thoughts on this game. I've already kind of dove into it a little bit, obviously, as we've been talking for the last 15 minutes or so. But the first quarter wasn't great. Like, we were in it, but the only reason we were in it was because of those second chance points. Like, our first shots were awful. You ended up losing that quarter by 13, and the second quarter you win the second quarter by 4 to get back into it a little bit. That third quarter was a treat, though. It was a lot of fun. And it was one of those games where I looked at the score and I was like, how are we in this game? The fact that their biggest lead was only 16 tonight is crazy. Crazy. With the amount of turnovers we had and the first half, how poorly we shot the ball, this should have been a 20-plus point game. Like, if I'm a Phoenix fan tonight, I'm very disappointed that this game was this close. It shouldn't have been. But again, credit to the Magic. Not playing well in several facets of the game, and yet you find a way to just scratch and claw to make this obviously a close game for the entire second half. Then the fourth quarter happens. Once again, you're neck and neck with them. You're within 1 or 2 possessions the entire fourth quarter with 6:05 remaining. You get it down to a 1-point game, 103-102. And then you don't score again until 1:10 remaining. So Phoenix goes on a 9-0 run. But here's the tough part about this stretch. You got so many stops in that 6 minutes. It was not like Phoenix blew your doors off in those last 6 minutes. Because they didn't. Because you got so many stops. Let me look at this really quick. So I'm just doing this on the fly here. So it's a 1-point game, 6:05. KD scores on the next possession. Then you force 1 miss, 2 miss, 3 misses, 3 straight misses. Then they score, and they score. Okay. then a fourth miss, and a fifth miss. Okay, 6. You force 6 empty possessions over those last 6 minutes, and they only score 3 field goals, and a trip to the free throw line. The opportunity was there. The defense was there. You were forcing that quote-unquote big 3 to miss shots down the stretch, which I didn't expect. I thought if this game was close, or if Phoenix has a lead in the last 5 minutes, this game is over, because we just know the bucket getters they have. Kevin Durant. That's all you need to say. And then you add Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Those 3 guys are just going to cook you down the stretch. And yet, the Magic were able to keep them from doing that. You held them. Especially after you get to a 1-point game and then Kevin Durant hits that, I believe it was a 3. But then you stop them on 3 straight possessions. But it's a 4-point game. You have three shots to get it back down to a 1-possession game. You just couldn't do it. It's unfortunate. But at the same time, I do credit the Magic for holding this Suns team, to 112 points, holding them to 45 points in the second half. You cannot praise that enough. That is huge. So credit to the Magic for doing what they are good at, getting stops. They just couldn't put the ball in the basket enough in the second half. Tragic. Okay. Steven says, credit to our squad for keeping it close the entire game, for sure. Chris says, if we don't make these turnovers, we beat them. That's just a fact. And Janine, this is exactly it. Says, gotta love the way our team keeps fighting. Absolutely. Cannot complain about that. And then So Amazing Music says, we really should have won that game. Plenty of opportunities. 100% agree. Let's take a look at the box score. Franz, he was all right. There were certain times in this game, I can't remember what stretch it was, but he went to the rim like 3 or 4 straight times, just abused the Suns. We do have a super chat really fast, though. Kaiser Sosa says, Fultz has only played 5 games this season. Yeah, not great. Really not great. Apparently, he's coming back any day, though. He was questionable. He was a true game time decision tonight. Okay. Warmed up. Went through actual like pre-game warm-ups and everything. And they said no go. So unless his knee flared back up again tonight or flares up tomorrow or whatever, there is a very good chance we're going to see him Tuesday or Wednesday. I think a very high chance he'll be back. We'll see. Back to Franz, though. Again, he had some good stretches. Would like to see him shoot the ball a little better, obviously, but he did have 7 boards, 6 assists, and a block for 27 points. Paolo was just terrific. He was so good tonight. 28 points for him, 12 of 23 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, hit both of his free throws. How about that? Paolo goes to the line twice tonight. 2 and 1s. That's crazy. 2 free throws for him tonight. 9 boards, 7 assists, a block, and 3 turnovers for 28 points again. That's crazy. Goga. We already talked about him a little bit, but 6.7 boards, an assist for him tonight. Some good. Again, I thought that first quarter he was the reason you were in the game. And then he did kind of get abused by Nurkic, which I don't want to say there's no shame in that, but Nurkic does that to a lot of guys. So Jalen, his worst game of the season offensively, by far. Awful night for Jalen. Awful night. It was bothering him too. Like, he was getting real frustrated. 1 of 10 from the field, and that 1 was in garbage time, essentially, which made it go from a 10-point game to a 7-point game, if I'm remembering correctly. 1 of 7 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 boards, 3 assists, and a block. Anthony Black, pretty much invisible, which, I don't want to say it's par for the course, but this is a more common night for Anthony Black than uncommon, 2 points for him, 1 of 3 from the field, had 2 boards, 2 turnovers, and both of his turnovers were bad turnovers, like really bad. He's not the only one with bad turnovers, but if you're not contributing in any other way, you can't have those bad turnovers. Like, that's one thing Anthony Black has been so good at this year, is reducing or avoiding turnovers. And tonight, I know it's only 2 in the grand scheme of 16, but they were bad. Let's see here. Bomba says Franz and Powell should shoot 3-pointers better than today. Yeah. I mean, certainly combined, they go 4 of 14. That's not great. You want to see them do better, but they made all 5 of their free throws, which is great. So take your pick. Luis Rosario says, we'll need to go 3-1 or at worst 2-2 for this road trip. Anything else is trending in the wrong direction. I don't know about that. Like, for me, the only game on this road trip that I would have said is like right on that line of winnable, like the Magic almost should win, is Tuesday against Golden State. Even though on paper Golden State is Golden State, they're not playing well right now. And so that's the only game on this road trip that I would have predicted as a win. Honestly. The other 3, obviously we saw tonight. The other 2, I should say, Sacramento on the second night of back-to-back, Denver on Friday. I don't know. But I also think there's no shame in losing to those teams on the road. Like, yeah, you want to compete. You want to be in it. Like tonight, the Magic were in it. I don't think there's shame in losing that. I don't think if you go 1-3 on this trip, that's trending in the wrong direction necessarily. I just think you're coming up against great teams, tough schedule. You're on the road, but we'll see. Maybe they can go 2-2 or 3-1. That'd be amazing. Chris D says, I'm hugely pro AB, but he had it rough tonight. Yeah, he did. Steven says, so thankful we beat Knicks at home to end the year on our home court. Yeah, big time. Very glad we did that. Really quick, going to go through the rest of this box score. Gary, we've already talked about him. Just horrible. He's just been horrible, and it's sad. Cole was great. 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Hit all 3 of his free throws, 5 boards, a steal, 13 points. He just only played 18 minutes. Would have loved to see another 5+ minutes from him tonight. We already talked about Mo Wagner a little bit, just 9.5 minutes for him, 2 of 3 from the field. Had 4 boards, an assist, a steal. Wendell, his best game of the season, 17 points, 5 boards, 6 of 7 from the field, returning from injury. Good to see him back. And then Caleb played 7 minutes, and Chuma came in for a garbage time 8 seconds. So that's the box score there. Dizzy says, do you believe the Magic make some moves till the deadline? If yes, who would you send away? That would surprise me. That does not feel like a move. Like this front office has done that only once, really. Like a true move back in 2021 where they just blew the whole dang thing up. It's not been very common for this front office to do that, so that would surprise me. It would surprise me. All right, we got to hurry up, guys. It's late. We've already been 30 minutes. Let's look at some of this team stats here. Like I mentioned, Magic lost that first quarter, but won the next 2, and then you lose the fourth quarter by 3. Points in the paint, 58 for the Magic. That's about on par there for that. But Phoenix with 56, which I don't know for sure, but I feel like it's probably above their average. That's just guessing off the top of my head. But again, there were a lot of stretches in this game where we just let them do whatever they wanted in the paint, which was very disappointing. 18 fast break points for the Suns compared to 13 for the Magic. There's that biggest lead. Again, Phoenix was only a 16-point was their biggest lead, which, again, they should have been up by like 20 plus at some points in this game. You outscored them on the bench 40-6, and you lose this game. It's crazy. But yeah, we've already talked about it a million times. Not going to be a dead horse, but this is the difference of the game right here. 16 turnovers compared to 6 for the Suns. You score 8 points off of their turnovers. They score 18 off of turnovers. Crazy. Kaiser with another super chat. Thank you for that. He says, crazy idea. But what if we make a huge trade for Cade? Fultz, Black, Jet, 3 to 4 picks. He's got to be sick of Detroit and his size suits our style. Bro, Detroit is not trading Cade Cunningham. Definitely not even for that. Definitely not even for that. I would love Cade Cunningham in Orlando. And he's a Central Florida dude. He would love to be in Orlando. That ain't happening, bro. There is no chance. No chance that's going to happen. Yeah, like you could, the Magic might be able to trade for Cade, but not without including Powell or Franz. Like, there's no way Detroit accepts a deal that doesn't include either Powell or Franz. I'll put it that way. Let's see here. Some of these other team stats. Phoenix shoots 50% from the field. Again, there were so many stretches of this game. I know we played them well down the stretch in the fourth quarter defensively, but there were so many stretches of this game where they got whatever they wanted. And again, part of it is they have 3 incredible shot makers. What did those guys shoot? KD went 12 of 21. Bradley Beal 10 of 13. That's crazy. 7 of 17 for Booker. So, yeah, those 3, I mean, they're just a problem. But again, you hold them to 29% from 3. So that's good. You out-rebound them by 12. But look at that. 12 steals for the Suns. It's crazy. There are those turnovers, fast break points, fouls, all that good stuff. Fouls were interesting. I didn't think it was a super physical game. It's not that I think the Magic should have had a ton more free throws, but you only shoot 12. Part of it is the Magic took 37 threes tonight, which is way too stinking many. Should have tried to get to the rim more, tried to draw fouls. But there were a few times tonight I thought they missed some, the refs missed some calls. All right, let's take a look at some other scores in the standings, and then we'll talk about Tuesday's game. Magic were the last game of the week, which get used to it. We're out west this week, so it'll be like that. Other scores from tonight. Kings blow out the Grizzlies. Of course, the Magic will see the Kings on Wednesday. Let's see if the Kings play. I hope they play between now and Wednesday. They do. They play. Oh, it's a back-to-back for them as well. Okay. That makes me feel better. I forgot we talked about this. So they play Charlotte on Tuesday. Okay. That's good. It's something. Celtics blow out the Spurs, of course. Thunder beat up on the Nets. The Nets continue to fall apart. Pelicans whoop up on the Lakers. Hawks beat the Wizards. And yes, the Suns do beat the Magic. Let's take a look at what this game means for the standings. Magic still tied for the 4 seed, again, because Miami lost last night to Utah, which is great. Now 3 games back of Philly, though. I wanted to look at Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn is 2-8 in their last 10. They are now just 1.5 games out of, or away from that, the non-postseason section, for lack of a better term. The Bulls have now moved up into that the play-in, which is good for them, good for Vooch. Some other interesting tidbits really quick before we get out of here. The Hornets are 0-10 in their last 10 games, a 10-game losing streak. That's crazy. Meanwhile, down in the West, look at all these streaks. Some of these West teams are really kicking it into gear, and of course, right as we're going out West to play them. The team that is not kicking into gear yet is the Golden State Warriors, who we will face on Tuesday. Let's see. Because they just played. When was that Mavs game? Last night? Let's see. Saturday, yeah. So we will play Golden State on Tuesday, and they will have had 2 full days of rest. Sunday and Monday, yeah. So, yeah, coming to that game on Tuesday, that's going to be tough. Obviously, they're going to be hungry for a win. They've lost 3 in a row. They're a bit of a mess this season. Still under 500. Yeah, 15-17. But they're going to have the rest advantage, and they're going to be hungry. But this team will be hungry too. Again, the Magic should, in a lot of ways, feel pretty good about tonight. Obviously, certain things they shouldn't. The turnovers, unacceptable. You should not be happy with that. But the fact they played this way and still were able to be in this game down the stretch. They made a lot of good plays tonight. They defended really well for the most part. Just couldn't get the ball to go in the basket and couldn't stop turning the ball over. So they do have a lot to be proud of tonight. Honestly, I know there's a couple reasons to be frustrated tonight, but all in all, I'm okay. I'm okay with this. I hope you guys are too. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Another late night coming up. Tuesday night, we'll be here for the 6 Man Show Postgame Live after that Golden State game. Right now, as we speak, Jonathan and Luke are recording the next episode of the 6 Man Show, which will be up sometime later tonight, early in the morning. But for all of us here at the 6 Man Show, I want to wish all of you a very happy new year. We'll see you in 2024. Take care and go Magic.